everybody in Cardinia and surround. I am Ash from The Conscious Jungle. I have a Facebook group called Thermomixing with The Conscious Jungle. I do most of my cooking here at home in a TM6, a Thermomix. Exciting day tomorrow for a lot of young Victorians with heading back to school in the real classroom. I know for myself as a parent, I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. With that in mind, I thought it would be a really nice thing to do to make a yummy slice for to put in your kids' lunchboxes or to welcome them home. This is a slice that has nuts in it, so if you are at a nut-free school, this isn't a lunchbox slice. But if you are at a school that allows nuts, then go ahead and pop it in your kids' lunchbox. This is dairy-free, vegan, and really healthy, so it's one of our favourites here. Raw lamington slice. Let's get cracking. So this recipe is a guided recipe, which means that on my screen, you can't see my screen, I'll just talk you through it. On my screen, I have a whole bunch of recipes here, and one of them, once I searched it up, is raw lamington slice. So I'm just going to click start cooking. It says to line a baking tray with baking paper, but I don't do that because what I find is I pop it in the freezer, and then when I pull it out, it actually pops out really nicely. So I find it's one of those recipes that you can just skip the baking paper, which is great when we're trying to reduce our waste and reduce our single-use items. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in 200 grams of cashews. My Thermomix is going to add up, I got a bit of a tongue tie there. It's going to weigh my ingredients for me to the 1 gram. So if anybody's familiar with the older Thermomix styles, the 31 or the 5, they go up by 5 gram increments. So this is really great to be able to be spot on with your measurements. So just as I expected, the recipe calls for 200 grams of raw cashews, and I'm out at 166. So don't fear. What you can do is you can just add in with any other nuts. So I'm just going in with a mix of almonds and hazelnuts. Ideally, you would just go in with your cashews, but that was only like 5 almonds just to make up that difference. The next thing we're going to do is 100 grams of coconut. So desiccated coconut, shredded coconut, any kind of coconut that you've got handy. Just got to give it a bit of a wriggle. Hey Meg, bake and take to work for sure. It's really delicious. And the other thing I like about this slice is a lot of the times you get like a hedgehog slice or something like that, and they're just so delicious that you want to have 10 of them. This is really rich, and you find that one little square just really satisfies those sweet cravings. Okay. That took me a long time to put 100 grams of coconut in, but we're in 100 grams of coconut. Next thing we're going to do is 50 grams of coconut oil. Just grab a spoon out here. All right, reiterating, 200 grams of raw cashews, 100 grams of coconut, and 50 grams of coconut oil. You can then go ahead and add a teaspoon, if you like, of vanilla essence or vanilla extract or something like that. I don't, because I like to keep things as simple as possible, but again, that would be a nice option as well. The other thing we're going to put in is some honey, and I've got this lovely honey from my friends Meg and Mel from their bees, from their hives. So you can put in maple syrup or honey, it's up to you, just something to give it that little bit of sweetness. There we go. Again, you can put in some vanilla if you like, but I choose not to. So this is what we're looking like. Got a little bit of almonds and hazelnuts, mainly coconut and cashews. My big blob of honey on the side. Super simple. All we're going to do is we're going to blend, chop it up for 15 seconds. So okay, once we scrape down the sides, I'll just open that up and show you what it's looking like. So 15 seconds of blitzing, and we've already got this really nice kind of paste consistency. So I'm just going to make sure that I've scrape down the sides, and then we're going to do that one more time for 15 seconds just to make sure that no big bits are left in there. Naturally creamed honey, it's absolutely delicious, Meg. I'm very grateful to have such beautiful honey in our home. So that's 30 seconds of blending. And that is our base done. That's it. So you can really see it's chopped up quite a lot more. I'm gonna lower you down, excuse my hand. Here we go. And I'm just gonna pop that into my tray. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to spread that out as evenly as possible. It's quite a sticky mixture, so a top tip is to make sure you've got wet fingers. So you can get a little bowl of water or something just so you can keep wetting down your fingertips, and that will help to spread it out nice and even without you know, washing away most of that beautiful base. Before I do that though, I am going to get 100 grams of dark chocolate. Somebody may have nibbled the end of it, but we're not going to say who. 100 grams of dark chocolate. I find having dark chocolate in the home is just a really great thing as well, because again, you know, it is so rich and decadent that you know, a milk chocolate block, you're going to sit there and you're going to eat the whole thing. Well, I know I am, whereas I'm less inclined to do that with dark chocolate. So we've just got our chocolate in there, and I haven't rinsed the bowl because it's all going to go in the same way, and it's perfectly fine to not rinse your bowl. Save on water. So we're just going to chop that up for 10 seconds. Ooh, that's amazing. Hi there, Luke. Dark chocolate, Meg, absolutely delicious. So what we've done is we've just grated up our chocolate. So it's made like a chocolate powder. And what that's going to do is it's just going to make it super time efficient when it comes to melting that chocolate. Rather than trying to melt a big lump, we've now already broken it down into a really manageable size. So I've scraped down the sides, and now that's just going to melt. And while that's melting, I'll lower you down, and I've got my, maybe I'm better over here, there we go. Got my base there, just got a little cup of water, and I'm just going to push my base down. I love this recipe for the minimal ingredients, also how quick, it's such a quick recipe start to finish. Mind you, it does need time to set, so this is a really good one to do the night before, or do it in the morning or something like that. Because I'd say about half an hour before it's ready to cut. So I will put it in the fridge because I'm not ready to cut it until tomorrow morning. Otherwise, if I had guests, I would put it in the freezer, but like blast chill it, or if anybody watches MasterChef, into the blast chiller. All right, so I'm quite happy with that. It's not super perfect, but rustic. Who doesn't love rustic? Just gonna give my hands a wash, and then our chocolate topping is going to be ready to pour. And that's it for me today, guys. I'm just making that yummy slice, and then that's me done. There are another few things you could do to make this slice even yummier. You could, before you put on your chocolate topping, you could put a layer of jam on. I'm actually going to do that because I believe I do have jam, and that's going to take it to the next level. Give me 1 sec to run to my jam stash. I like to shop locally, but I also impulse buy, and I just can't help going past and not buying a Rose's jam because, like, look how beautiful this jar is. If anybody else has jar infatuation like me, I have a whole cupboard full of jars. So I will continue to support Rose's because of their pretty jars. So I'm just going to lower you down, excuse my hand. There you are. I'm just going to put a layer of jam on top. And that's going to be underneath our dark chocolate. Our chocolate's got 30 seconds until that should be melted and ready to go. This jam is optional. It tastes just as good without the jam. But yeah, it's just something a little bit different. Oh, and that's me done. Ready to reuse that jar for things like stock paste, curry pastes. I often put our half chopped onions and little veggie scraps in there. Or if I'm going to make my own preserves and extend the harvest, I keep all of my jars for that purpose. So that's going to go and get washed and reused. And here we have our melted chocolate. So I'm just going to drizzle that on top. Oh yeah. Nothing like the sweet smell of melted chocolate. So I'm not too fussed about getting all of that chocolate out of the bowl, because the other super neat zero waste trick that I have is that with my chocolatey bowl, I'm going to pop that there, grab one thing in a sec. I'm going to pop some milk in. So I've got my chocolatey bowl, I've got some milk, and I'm just going to set that to about 2 minutes, 70 degrees, and I'm going to turn it to speed 4. And we're going to have a hot chocolate. And I don't have to worry about wasting all that delicious chocolate down the drain. Okay, so I'll just spread this over a little bit. You don't have to use a spatula, you can just let gravity do it for you. I always feel like this bit's a bit like an artwork. I know a lot of kids at school really enjoy slopping on some acrylic paints and then turning the paper. So who says cooking with a Thermomix doesn't mean you can't get creative? I feel like an artiste right now. Just give it a bit of a tap, tap, tap on the side. It's going to get right down there. And like I said, I'm going to pop that one in the fridge because I'm not looking to cut it until later tomorrow. Otherwise you could pop it straight to the blast chiller. Better put my milk away. Every minute that you leave your, no, I was right the first time. Every hour that you leave your milk on the bench, you reduce its lifespan by 1 day. So making sure when you do take your milk products out of the fridge, get them back in as quick as possible. Every hour out of the fridge equals a day off its use by. Okay, I think that hot chocolate's nearly ready. Let's have a little look. Yeah, she's ready. You like my art, Meg? Cooking is art. Cooking is my art. Cooking and gardening. All right, and here's my yummy hot chocolate. I don't think anybody's snuffing about that one at the moment. Cheers, guys. Good luck to all the little youngsters in Victoria heading back to school tomorrow. See you later.